Hey guys, another edition of the Coach's Corner Show presented by PES and Martin Methodist College. We are coming to you live from Sam Davis Park alongside Giles County head football coach Walt Smith. Wade Neely, glad to be with you. Coach Smith, Cats, tough rivalry game last week against Marshall County, 46-6. Marshall County, though, one of the top teams in the state. Let's dive into that contest a week ago.
Yeah, they were definitely as good as advertised on offense. Offensively, they had guys, weapons everywhere. Quarterback, Posey kid. Is definitely a really good football player, and then the skill guys they've got on the outside, plus their running back, a couple good running backs back there in the backfield to change it up. They're really hard to stop on offense. Defensively, they were about like we thought they were. They got a player back that really helped them up front, but we thought we could move the ball on them, and we did for the most part. Just couldn't finish drives, and then we got behind, and it forced our hand into doing some things we weren't used to doing, and that kind of snowballed on us.
We touched on it last week. It was going to be critical for the Cats to get off to a good start or maybe not fall behind early. Unfortunately, that was the case. The interception that was returned for a touchdown. Kind of walk us through that first drive. The Cats were moving the ball, and then Elias through the jump ball, if you will, that was intercepted.
Yeah, we were moving the football right there. Got a first down to start the game, and then we just ran our little read play where it's a run pass read option, and he pulled it and didn't really trust his read and held the ball, and then just made a bad decision with the football, and it turned out that was a big thing we were trying to avoid last week. Was we knew we had to start well and keep them from starting well, and it went totally the other way, and again kind of snowballed on us.
It didn't really hurt the Cats initially, though. You guys were able to get the ball back, move down. You actually controlled the time of possession, a huge number in the first quarter. Marshall County offense, I don't think, got on the field till late in the quarter, and then the Cats also forced the point. The first quarter seemed like it was kind of going okay for the Bobcats.
Yeah, moved the ball. Thought we moved the ball great. Our up-tempo, we kind of went a little more up-tempo just to kind of try to get us in a rhythm. Wasn't necessarily, again, we're trying to keep the ball away from the other team, and going fast, sometimes you don't seem like you're doing that, but we feel like the way we broke ourselves down, scouting ourselves, we move the ball better when we're tempoing, and Friday night we tempoed a little bit and tried to get as many plays as we could. Move the ball because of that. I felt like that was one reason we were able to move the ball. It gives us a little more of a vanilla look on defense. Defenses can't dial up what they want to necessarily if we're going as fast as we want to, and felt like that was one reason we were able to move the football and have the success we did. We just again couldn't punch it in the end zone.
Cats are hanging tough. Couldn't get the points on the board, but you're still fighting there defensively. Marshall County, they strike for a huge pass play, kind of very end of the first quarter. Kind of walk us through that scenario. The Cats give up that big play that really kind of got the momentum going for the Tigers.
Yeah, it was, again, we just, the guy ran right by us. I guess maybe underestimated his speed a little bit in the secondary, and he ran right by us. Crutcher kid ran right by us in the secondary, and the Posey kid put it on the number, and it was a big play in the game. It
was a big turning point in the game. The Cats, from that point, were kind of chasing the game. Did you alter any of your strategy at that point?
No, I mean, we still wanted to run at that point. We still wanted to run Jordan a lot and pound on him a little bit. And again, I can't say enough about that kid. Just an unbelievable football player. Friday night, I think he ended up with 136 and a touchdown. Just really ran the ball real well. But when you get down 3 scores, after we got down 3 scores, we did kind of have to abandon him a little bit and go to the air a little bit and try trying to play catch up, and that's not what we're good at.
Offensively, the Cats, you kind of touched on it earlier. Coach Flippo calling the plays, kind of more up tempo. What does he bring in terms of an experience? Obviously, he's got a terrific pedgree, but exactly what does he bring, kind of intangible wise, to the program?
Well, just again, that's his style of offense. He wants to go as fast as he can. We scaled back the playbook a little bit just so we can go a little faster. There's not maybe as many choices, but we're going to go as fast as we can and execute them as well as we can. And it helped me help organize the sideline a little bit. I felt like the Lincoln County game, our sideline organization, wasn't necessarily our problem, but it was compounded a bunch of our problems, and felt like we got that back where it needed to be Friday. Still, special teams has got to be better. We've got to tackle better on special teams. We got to snap the ball better. Nate, hopefully, he knocked the rust off last week and is going to be back up to 100% this week. But we've got to do a lot better job on special teams and on all areas. But I felt like with Coach Filippo's taking over the plays, and me kind of stepping back and helping on the sidelines there, I felt like we took a step in the right direction.
Saw that speed option a little bit, if you want to call it that, I guess, with Jordan Tucker and Whitsitt. Didn't see Whitsitt really maybe carry it as much. Is that something that you're going to maybe grow as he continues to run that play?
It's possible. He had the option to run it depending on what their defensive end did, but we seen in film study they were probably going to make us pitch it, and with what they were giving us, we felt like that was a play that we could. I think we ended up averaging about 6 yards a carry on it Friday night, so it was definitely a good play for us. Got Jordan the ball on the edge, and it's just another way to get him the ball out in space, and we're going to continue to create ways to get him the ball, whether it be inside or outside or everywhere, just because he's that good a player.
While we're talking about Jordan, what makes this kid so special? He is outstanding this year.
Just his combination of moves as a running back and then his strength. You're not going to arm tackle him. He's squatting 500 pounds, bench pressing over 300, and just power cleaning about the same amount as he's benching. He's just an unbelievable all-around football player. He's strong, he's fast, he's quick, hard worker. Really good teammate to the guys. I can't say enough good things about him.
Think there's a chance we're going to see him playing on Saturdays?
I definitely think so. Carson Newman was here Friday night to kind of look at him and talk to him a little bit, and they're very interested, and several other schools are very interested.
Good deal. Speaking of the game on Friday, we'll kind of wrap things up with defense. The Cats limited a few big plays, but again, they kind of proved to be the undoing for Giles County. How do you shore those up, as we'll talk more about Kenwood coming up next week?
Well, we just we've talked about we've got to have we've got to make some big plays on our own. A couple times Friday night I felt like they gave us an opportunity to have an interception, or they gave us a couple of turnovers that Peyton was involved in, but we've just got to make those big plays when we're given the chance, whether it be on offense or defense, and do a little bit of job tackling.
No doubt. Thank you, Coach. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll talk and continue with Bobcats head coach Walt Smith as we preview this week's opponent. It's Kenwood. The Bobcats are on the road, headed up to Clarksville. We'll have a preview when we come back on the other side of the Coach's Corner Show presented by PES and Martin Methodist College.
Hi, I'm David Alford from the TV show Nashville, and I'm here to tell you about my college. Since 1870, Martin Methodist has paved the path to success for thousands of graduates. Just an hour south of Nashville, you'll find an affordable private college participating in the Tennessee Promise with an educational program designed for you to graduate in 4 years. Come visit us and experience the difference. Experience an education that's personal.
Time now for a look ahead at Martin Methodist College athletics. This Saturday, the number 5 Red Hawk women's soccer team returns to action at home in one of its biggest challenges of the 2015 season. The Red Hawks will take on the NAIA defending national champion and number 1 ranked Lindsey Wilson College Blue Raiders at the East Campus in a critical non-conference matchup. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. It's Martin Methodist versus Lindsey Wilson this Saturday at the East Campus. Welcome back, folks. Coach's Corner Show continues right here, presented by PES and Martin Methodist College. He's Bobcats head coach Walt Smith. I'm Wade Neely. Coach, let's dive in. The great unknown this week, Kenwood. What can you tell us about the squad from Montgomery County up there in the Clarksville near the Fort Campbell base?
It's kind of a base school. It's real close to the base there. They have a lot of turnover with kids moving in and out, but I've got several good football players. I know Coach Bobian. He does a really good job. I coached against him. He was the defense coordinator at DCA when I was at Mount Pleasant, and we had a couple battles in the playoffs there. They were really good back then. We were pretty good. So they're going to be a good football team. They've got 3 or 4 guys that would play for anybody we play. The tailback's really good. Quarterback's more of a runner, but he is really quick back there. Got some big defensive guys up front and some athletes on the back end.
You kind of touched on it in our post-game show Friday. This game kind of is an interesting one. It kind of came about at the last minute. Kind of walk us through maybe the process of why the Cats are going to be going up to Montgomery County.
Well, it's anytime you've had success like we've had in the past, scheduling's tough because nobody wants to play you. Everybody's obviously trying to schedule wins as much as possible, and it's not as important now with the playoffs the way it is, but still people had that in the back of their mind, so it was tough, and we were down. We were struggling for 2 games. Couldn't find really anybody, and the only teams I had calling us were Hendersonville and Blackman and Oakland and some of the bigger 6A schools, and weren't necessarily wanting to do that after trying to get away from the Ensworths and people like that from the last couple of years, and found it on the website that they were looking for a game. Them and Signal Mountain both kind of just fell in our lap a little bit. It's a long trip, so we split them up where we only took one per year, and this year we'll go to Clarksville, and next year we'll go over to Chattanooga and play Signal Mountain, but. It's going to be a good trip for the kids. We're going to get them out at 1 o'clock and go up and stop at Montgomery Bell State Park and eat lunch and kind of stretch our legs a little bit there, do a little walkthrough maybe, and then go on up to play football.
This is always one of those fun trips, like you said, when you get out of school early. You get to. It's not a playoff game, but you kind of get the playoff feel of getting out early and going to do all the fun pregame things. And you guys, it sounds like you're going to do that Friday.
Absolutely. Again, that's kind of what we decided to do. Since we've got one each year, use that game as kind of a preview to what you expect when you get rid of the playoffs.
It's going to be a big one. Let's dive in. You mentioned Kenwood. They've got some speed. They've got a really good tailback, and they've got a couple of kids, like you mentioned, that could probably play for not just Giles County, but any team in our region.
Yeah, again, they're big up front, especially their D-line. They've got several big guys up front on their D-line that make plays for them. Their linebackers are big in size. Hopefully we can get to the edge and use a little bit of our speed against those linebackers, but they've got plenty of speed on the back end to help back up those guys, and then their tailbacks, he'd start for just about anybody we play. Again, I'm not going to trade for him, but he's a really good runner. He's played a little bit of quarterback actually for him earlier in the year, and then moved to tailback, and we'll still every once in a while line up in like a Wildcat set at the quarterback set, but he's looking to run the football, and the quarterback, even though he throws some, it's usually a home run. They're going to try to throw a lot of deep balls to stretch the defense that way, and then he's going to make some plays with his legs.
Just 2 wins on the season for Kenwood, but they did pick up one last week, kind of a surprising win over Montgomery Central. Maybe a little momentum for the Knights coming into this game? Or?
Well, again, they're a good football team. I don't think they've been on the back end. They've played a couple of big schools. Clarksville Northeast was a big school that kind of beat them one time, and I think they've had some shuffling of some personnel trying to find the right combination at backfield, and it seemed like last week they found that and beat a pretty good Montgomery Central team.
Biggest challenge or biggest adjustment, I guess, from last week to getting the kids ready to go take this kind of unknown trip this Friday?
Well, defensively, again, it's the same broken record. We've got to cut down on the big plays, and that's one thing that they really like to try to do is create that big play. So it'll be a good test for us on that. They don't run a whole lot of plays or a lot of formations. They're not going to try to trick you. They're going to try to play smash mouth football and run the football and have their athletes make some plays. So we've got to do a good job of limiting that. And then on offense, again, it goes back to we just got to continue to get better at what we do. We've got to take care of the football. Friday night, I felt like, if we'd have caught a few of the drops we had and not turned the ball over, it could have been a little bit different game, down the stretch. I don't know if we had the guns to run with Marshall County, but I think we could have made a lot closer game of it. Maybe had a chance to win it at the end if we'd have done some of those key things. But we've got to do a better job of that. We've got to take care of the football and, again, taking advantage of the opportunities been given to us.
Coach, we're at the midway point of the season. How critical, obviously the Cats 0-5, not the start they would have liked, but this is a chance for maybe Giles County to kind of kickstart the second half of the season and sneak into the playoffs here.
Well, we talked about it Friday right after the game. All you can do is go back to work the next week and try to get better. There's that or quit, and we're not going to quit. So the guys, I thought they had a good attitude when they came in Sunday ready to go back to work. Again, everybody's disappointed. Nobody likes to lose, and we're doing everything we can to try to stop that skid. And try to get over that hump. I feel like if we could ever get that monkey off our back and make 1 or 2 big plays, that's one thing we're hurting for. We don't have a guy that has made those big plays for us. I feel like Tanner's made a few plays, Jordan's made a few plays, but we've got to have a guy step up and just be a consistent guy that we can go to and say, hey, this guy's going to make us 1 or 2 big plays a night. And hopefully, this week and in the next coming weeks we can have that and it transfer into some wins.
A couple of weeks ago, you said you like the chemistry of the team, you like the integrity of the team. Got some new leaders maybe blossoming, or is it the same kind of stalwarts that are leading you guys to try and get this ship righted?
It is. Again, that's one thing that I feel like is a good show of their character. A lot of teams would have fallen apart. Anybody with the expectations that we always put on ourselves here, start a season out like we did this year, so far, a lot of teams would fall and falter and fall apart. But I feel like our guys have kind of stayed together a little bit, and again, just trying to hold each other more accountable, not just on the practice field and not just on Friday night. That was kind of our focus Sunday, was to do that in the weight room and in the classroom. And you can't just show up on Friday and flip the switch and play football. Doing things right is a habit that you form by all the other things you do, and that's why I love football so much. It's such a good transfer to life. To me, it's the best sport that transfers more to life because, like in life, we talk about bad things are going to happen in a football game, and it's all about how you handle them and how you react to them, and just like in life.
Any injuries or anything? We'll kind of find a few questions. Any nags or bruises other than normal football wear and tear?
Caleb Clem's got a little bit of a leg injury. He hadn't practiced, probably won't practice today. Not sure about his deal for Friday night, but we've got Bryson Phillips, who's a senior that's been waiting there and played a little bit for him, and then Chase Hedgecoff may even step over and play some center as well.
We always like to close with a key to victory. Cats need to do what well if they want to win Friday night at Kenwood?
We've got to tackle really well. We've got to tackle the quarterback when he goes to scramble, tackle the tailback really well, and then offensively, we've just got to make that big play. I feel like I don't feel like we've been explosive enough on offense, and we're going to make a few changes and hopefully make us a little bit more explosive on offense.
Good deal. Coach, as always, best of luck. We'll see you Friday night.
Thanks a lot.
All right, that was Giles County head football coach Walt Smith. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Coach's Corner Show. We've been presented by PES and Martin Methodist College. For Walt Smith and all the gang at K2 Media Productions, I'm Wade Neely signing out. We'll see you Friday night as the Bobcats head to Montgomery County.